Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and we are back at the entrance of Tadrent. We are still recruiting our crew. And I'm gonna skip... Well, I'm gonna go to Lamedan first, as we discussed earlier. Trying to get to the Blackroot Vale through Belfalas would mean going through Tarlank's Crown once again. That's not something I'm looking forward to, especially not with the landscape difficulty enabled. If I were running at normal difficulty, I might do it. It wouldn't be that hard. But with landscape difficulty, that would just take too long. And it's not worth it, in my opinion. And you might be wondering why I'm still running with landscape difficulty if I'm not getting the tokens. On one hand, the bonus to virtue XP, it's fine, it's good to have, it doesn't hurt. And on the other hand, the extra challenging combat does improve the flow of the game a little bit. Well, depends on the situation. There are fights that take too long, there are other fights that become, I cannot say challenging, but more engaging would be the right term in my opinion. Anyway, there is still merit in running the landscape difficulty, and besides, if I disable the landscape difficulty while I get on level with the mobs and quests again, I will most likely forget to enable it again, so I much rather not do that. I know myself too well to know that it's there's a high possibility that would happen, and we don't want that. At some point we're gonna start earning tokens again, so yeah, we gotta keep that in mind. Now, it does take a while to get from Tadrent to Kalimdel. I really wish to go faster with the worsted maybe, but well, you saw what happened on the last episode. Once again, I will most likely cut the horrendous lag and well the disconnect, of course, but you saw where I ended up, and that was terrible, of course. I have just remembered that I have a couple of mount speed boosts in my vault that you sometimes get from habit presence, and that I really hadn't used at all, because before Rohan the game is big, but it's manageable on horseback, and after Rohan there's really not a lot of point on using that if you have the worsted. But now that we see how, or well, now that I remembered how that lag affects worsteds, maybe I can start using some of those buffs for quests like this, where we need to do a lot of backtracking, and I choose to do it for immersion purposes. And once again, I hope you don't mind. But here we are, back at Galengam's store. Really looking forward to hear what he has to say about joining the crew. Oh, Garliff, you are drunk again.
Well now, this is quite a surprise. What brings you back to Galengam's divine and delicate drafts?
Did the king come with you? I saw an increase in visitors to my shop after his previous visit, and I look forward to any future return he might make. You tell Galengam the purpose of your visit, that you are recruiting crew members for a dangerous journey to Umbar so you may rescue the kidnapped hero of the Green Hills. The merchant adjusts a hat upon his head. Ah, I see why you have come to me. Who else would have the extensive knowledge of provisions and supply necessary for such a voyage? But what would be my payment for providing such a service? Answer not so quickly. I have the answer. This will permit me to open up new markets across the bay. What new goods will I be able to acquire? The mind really reels at the possibilities. I accept. There is one small complication, however. I had some of my workers put papers up all over town advertising my status as the king's own merchant and detailing the movement of my shop to Minas Tirith. But if I am to join you on your ship, I will not be able to make the move just yet. The posters must come down. Burn them in a brazier here in Kalimdel after you have removed them. I cannot join your crew until this is done. Yeah, that's a reasonable request, and to be honest, I have expected Galengam to give me a task to, I don't know, go through all over Lamedon, removing the posters. So having this confined to Calambel only, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I mean, Calambel, sorry, is big enough as it is. God knows where these posters might be posted, right? But for the most part, I don't expect them to be that hard to find. I mean, the town is big, but there are only a handful of locations where it would make sense for these posters to be. I do, however, want to make this quick. I would pretty much love to get the entire crew ready on today's episode, finishing recruiting everybody else. And I still have 5 people missing, so I gotta be really fast. And I think I also need to run through the list on my head again, because it's not hard to remember the list. But I always forget for Gangur, Infoduxahar. But yeah, we cannot forget about him. And Galengam here is gonna be our 6th crew member, so that's gonna be all good. And it seems, thankfully, there are more than enough, posters around here for you to take down. It's not like some other quests where you have the exact amount and you gotta run around. Pray to God you find them all. Thankfully, this doesn't seem to be the case today. And I, of course, am very grateful about that. Makes things a little bit easier. Yeah. Of course, right here by the fountain where Angkor is. Makes a lot of sense to have a couple of these, at least. Nice seeing you again, Angkor, even though our meeting was very brief. But this, well, one of the most enjoyable things about going through Gondor again is meeting with all the people you had met before, seeing how they are doing, what else do they need, what has happened with them ever since we last saw them. Oh yeah, we gotta burn them at the brazier, my bad. So provides a good sense of continuity, even if I have a hard time remembering a lot of these people. I played through Western, Central, and Eastern Gondor a little bit more than 3 years ago. 3 years ago? No, 2 years ago. The summer of 2021. So yeah, there's a lot of things I don't remember about those people, but the game does a good job for the most part reminding you who is who and what happened, but there are some details it doesn't give you again. You burn Galengam's notices to ash in the brazier. You there, can I ask you a question?
What is the meaning of...
Excuse me, I could not help but notice that you have gone and burned up all the notices my son and I were ordered to put up around town. It took us all morning to do, and now you've gone and ruined all that work. What is the meaning of... The man pauses. Beriathan? It is you. It has been a long time since our paths crossed. I did not expect to see you again, let alone for you to work at cross purposes to me and my son. Galengam had us putting up those notices to advertise that his shop will be moving to Minas Tirith. Why have you taken them down? You tell Bandron that Galengam will be sailing with you to Umbar, and therefore his other plans have been halted for now. The wagon driver's eyes light up, and despite his age, he dances a jig on the cobblestone. What wonderful tidings you bring. My son will be delighted to hear it as well. At last we will have a break from Galengam's orders. He's always sending us all over Gondor Beriathan with nary a rest in between each journey. Do you think you could make this voyage take as long as possible and give my boy and I a true holiday? Endless thanks to you, my friend. Okay, well, I'm glad you're glad about Galengam leaving. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Although, I would say this mission is supposed to be a secret. It really doesn't help if Beriathan is telling everybody where he's going at the first chance he gets. Like, hey, no, I'm going on a super top secret mission to Umbar, but yeah, that, I don't know. It gave us a very funny moment with Vandron there, so I will let that one pass.
You have removed all the notices? Good, good.
There are new markets to discover and new goods to acquire, and when we do return, I shall become even more profitable than I had previously expected. It will be an honor to profit from your mission, Beriathan. I mean, it will be an honor to aid you with the provisions you need to conduct a successful voyage. I will be ready when you are set to depart, my auspicious friend. Of course. Alright, so now loyalty has hit level 89. Let me check that one. Oh, I have 4 points on blue line because I haven't spent them all yet. And it's about to hit level cap. I did kinda unintentionally level up some virtues by running the Yule Festival. You cannot avoid that because you get some virtue XP every time you complete one of the wrappers. So there are like 1 or 2 virtues I was able to cap while running the festival. I was fine. I mean, extra virtue XP, nobody can complain about that. So yeah, that was a very, well, as I said, kinda unintended. That was not the reason why I ran the festival, but it's a nice boon anyway. Now we are going through the Blackroot Vale now. We are missing Sigilet, Sirgon, Gangur, which I will not forget again, and the bird or leaf shade. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, that thing was gnawing at me, and I really was so afraid that I had missed that bird somehow that I did end up looking online where that bird is found. And well, I guess you will see in just a few minutes, I hope. And on one hand, I say, yeah, I knew it. We had a clue about that exact bird on one of the previous chapters. On the other hand, I said, how do you expect anyone to remember that? It was such a minor detail. It was mentioned almost as, not almost, it was mentioned as something really for flair only. It didn't have any impact on what we were doing at the time. How do you expect anyone to remember that? On the other hand, at least it was designed in such a way that it would be really hard to miss that bird, I believe. If this thing is going to play out as I think it will, it's really hard not to see that bird. So there's that at long last. At least, I mean. I did review my old footage, and I see when we crossed paths with that bird, and well, it clicked. Once again, I knew we had done that. I knew we had seen that bird before. It did definitely ring a bell. But I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And those sort of minor details are the kind of things that I can get obsessed with really quickly. So it wasn't necessary, but yeah, it was eating me alive. I really needed to know. And in case you don't know, you will know in just a moment. Because once again, we are getting the full crew for this. Now, something that I'm well aware something that also Made of Lions mentioned on the forum somewhere, is that, well, designing all this was kind of hard because a lot of the crew members are optional. So how can you... He couldn't have the crew members, the optional crew members, affect the main story that much, because that would have opened a lot of branching paths that, as far as I understand, they have the technology to do it, but it's very challenging. I remember a few years ago they were discussing how unexpectedly difficult the choice of splitting, the choice of what to do with Halros became in the end. Like, yeah, basically you had to design two different versions of all the quests where that choice would be important, which, well, are not that many, but are still a few, and the game had to acknowledge your choice to offer you the right version. So it's a little bit blurry, but I kind of remember them saying that it was challenging. So, of course, they wouldn't do anything like this in here, because now you have 5 optional crew members. So as far as I understand, the difference it will make is, well, you would get a few extra side quests in the Shield Isles and Umbar, but as I mentioned before, the ending of the storyline we have so far is gonna change a little bit. Not exactly sure how, because that is something that I have purposely avoided. I have a brief idea of which character will be involved in this, but I don't know exactly how that will play a choice. But now that I think of it, yeah, he's an optional crew member, I believe. Well, of course, he's an optional crew member. You'll see why when we get to that. But yeah, I mean, the ending will change a little bit, and I think that is as far as we can go. However, some people are wondering if the choice of crew members will maybe have an impact in a future update towards the end of the storyline, like what they did with Halros and Horn. Like, it was not immediately evident what would happen. I mean, it was only evident, the impact of that choice, when you got to the end of it. Oh, Redstone, awesome. Because other than that, I mean, before the Battle of Pelennor Fields, the only instances that I remember Halros being relevant was one of the instances in Eregion, but it changed from Halros to Daervun or something like that, so it was not that big. The interlude with Halros in Wildermore was different depending on your choice. You would get an interlude with Halros in Dunland or with Halros in the Shire. I think I have seen them both, now that I think of it. And other than that, yeah, until you got to the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, and you saw the impact of your choice, but before that, it really was not that big of a difference. So maybe they will do something similar this time around, and your choice of crew will become relevant later down the road. But as far as I understand, it's not going to make a huge difference right now. It would still be a lot of extra flair anyway, and I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, it's not gonna be a game changer by any means. It's been a while since last we visited this home. I thought, you remember, we've been checking the LOTRO companion, or well, I did check it a few weeks ago, and there's supposedly one quest that I missed, but I don't see where. Maybe with a future update to the companion or something like that, it will become more clear what happened there exactly. But I still stand by my theory that depending on which side of the Blackroot Vale you enter from, for the epic you might get a different quest. It's the only explanation that I can find so far.
I am pleased to see you again, but what brings you here now?
King Elazar sent word that he will come in person to the Blackroot Vale after all, and I believe I have you to thank for that. It is important for the folk of Morlat and the wider Vale to see their king. But what brings you here now? You ask Dwayne here if an elf warrior named Sigileth has come to Morlat, and he says that he has not seen anyone by that name or description come from the south. You shake your head and tell the Lord of the Blackroot Vale that Sigileth would likely come from the north. He marvels at you in surprise. From the north? Does that mean you expect this elf warrior to come through the path of the dead? I have not seen her at any rate. If you go to the Dark Door, perhaps you will intercept her on her way, but I find this hard to believe. We'll see. Yeah, we completed Galengam's quest. I was a little bit distracted there, but yeah, I just want to make sure we don't miss anyone. I don't know, I'm not sure if you, for example, can come back at some point and still recruit the other members that you missed. Okay, Arlif, what's going on with you today? If you can still recruit the crew members that you missed, and then find their quests still available for the shield isles on the Cape of Umbar. I'm not sure if that is a possibility or not, or you only get the chance of recruiting them now, and then that choice is gone forever. Because as far as I understand from the forums, once again, if you have the crew, I mean the quest, the optional crew members will give you some quests that you can access at any point, at least talking about the quests they offer in the Shield Isles and the Cape of Umbar. But I'm not sure if the possibility of actually recruiting them will be available regardless of when you sail or not. So I don't want to risk it. I want to make sure I take everyone. In any case, we are about to meet Sigileth, and once again, that is very exciting. I did forget to review my footage of Chapter 5 of the Black Book of Mordor when you meet her and tell her what happened with Gorodan. But if the game says she went looking for him in Gondor, that's of course what happened. Rovalang, it's been a while since I last saw you. Sigileth is not here, but you have found a friendly face, the Swan Knight Rovalang. I do remember you.
What brings you once again to the Blackroot Vale?
You tell Rovalang that you are waiting for a friend to arrive and you plan to ask her to join your crew on a secret mission to Umbar. The Swan Knight nods and looks as if he has some questions to ask. Then he smiles. I will not press you any further on this, my friend, for a secret mission should remain secret, no matter how intriguing it may be for me to hear more of it. While you wait for your friend to arrive, perhaps you will help me with my own task. I have been ordered to make safe the Blackroot Vale, and I could use your help with that, as before, as and always. Alright, so that means... defeat foes in the Blackroot Vale. I'm utterly gonna regret this, most likely, but we are right here by the door, right? So... I mean, it would be a little anticlimactic to just be fighting, I don't know, bears and wolves, spiders, when you have the dead itself in here. Starting to worry that this path was suspiciously empty. Here they come. What I expected, actually. Pulling all these three guys at once. Oh, for God's sake. Christ! If you wouldn't lag, I wouldn't be struggling this much with this stupid thing. Let me fire the gambit I need, for Christ's sake. Jeez. What part of don't like when I'm fighting 2 or more of these guys you don't freaking understand. For Christ's sake. Jesus. It's way harder than this needs to be. Oh, come on. Fellow Bjorning steps in to help. And with some luck, yeah, he or she doesn't have landscape difficulty enabled, so yeah, he just takes them like if they were paper and just annihilates them. But even without the difficulty, he's still taking quite a beating, but well. I mean, I guess there's nothing to fear. Yeah, sticking them down. Maybe waiting for his morale to go back up. I think I'm gonna thank him. Or maybe help him with these 2 guys. And we can thank him again. He's done, and so am I. Is that the Tidebreaker steed? That looks kind of cool. But well, I only have the standard version of Umbar, so I don't have any of the cosmetics, the armor and the steeds that come with the higher tiers. I plan on upgrading at some point when I am on a more a financially stable situation, we can say. It's on the radar because those cosmetics are really cool. The weapon aura especially, it's amazing.
Thank you, my friend. It is always a pleasure to work alongside you.
Wait, someone comes. The elf warrior Sigileth has answered your call. Oh, bye. By God, this is so exciting. I'm so glad to see you, Sigileth. Oh yeah. I hope you're ready to go looking for
I did not expect to see you on the road. I would have found you, as we will find my brother.
You ask Sigileth if she truly passed through the path of the dead on her way to the Blackroot Vale, and she looks at you quizzically. I am no stranger to places of evil, my friend. My stay beneath the dungeons of Dol Guldur has seen to that. I wasn't troubled by the paths of the dead. Any of the spirits that still dwell beneath the mountain chose not to hinder my passage. A wise choice. Now, tell me what you have learned of Kurudan's whereabouts. Time is wasting. You tell Sigilet briefly of what you know of her brother's captivity by Nakasi Wave Reaper and the Kindred of the Coins, and of your plan to rescue him. Your ship is docked at a lake to the west? I will meet you there and sail with you to Umbar. My brother will be freed from captivity and death, just as I was when you thought me dead on the stairs of Dol Guldur. Let us not delay. Are you coming with us?
This sounds like quite the adventure.
I would go with you, but I am commanded by my prince to make safe the veil, and I have never desired to do other than that. Good fortune go with you on your voyage, my friend. I hope you accomplish all that you set out to do. Sigilet of the Hidden Guard, she who remained, has joined your crew. Oh boy, yeah. Yeah, I think what confused me there with Galengam for a moment is that I didn't read what the quest said, but well, not a big deal. Now we gotta go find Gangur in, oh my god, in Furuksahar. And yeah, I'm gonna take the mount speed buff. Where is it? Please tell me I still have it. I should have it. On my vault? Or maybe I just sent that to another ult because I didn't plan on using that with Beriathan. What a shame. What an utter shame. Yup. Ascendant Frost? Really? Is that what you're gonna give me? As you have seen, I have taken out my old carry-all. And I am storing all my tier 15 traceries and runes in here. This allowed me to save some much needed backspace. And funny enough, I have another essence carry-all entirely full sitting at my shared storage. That's where I have all my tier 13 and 14 traceries. But to be honest with you, I don't know what I am saving them. At least, I mean, I can see myself saving a few of those, but not an entirely carry-all, and yet here we are. That's exactly what I did. Now, if I have been keeping count correctly, we're only missing Gangur, the bird, and Sirgon. So we've been making good progress today. But we still gotta be fast because there's about 25 to 30 minutes on today's episode. And I wanna physically write to my destinations for the cruise, so I might need to, as much as I'm a little bit cautious about it, I might need to get on the worsted instead. Pray to God the lag doesn't hit me as bad today. Yeah, these mountains in Gondor, the White Mountains, they look amazing. I really hadn't taken the time to appreciate them, at least not in a long while. And Kalenbel there in the distance. It's also quite a view. So, Furuksahar and Pelargir. And they are really close to each other, but the thing is, we gotta go to the Ring of Vale or the Ner'Nil, or back to Belfalas and the Ner'Nil. It seems almost the same to me. If you come to the Blackroot Vale first, and that means going through Tarlang's Crown, but if you do the Blackroot Vale first, then you could go to to Calenville in here, then Tadrent, then Dol Amroth, Avadek's Watch, and from there it would be a straight line to Dor Ner'Nil. And that seems to be a little bit more time efficient. That is, if you don't waste a lot of time fighting the coursers at Tarlang's Crown, which in my case would take a long time. Longer than it would take just taking this route that we have. I am wondering where have I stored that Mount Speed bust? That was a very awful combination of boost and buff, but you get the idea, I hope. Point is, I don't remember where I saved them. I know they must be somewhere in here, or was I fool enough to destroy them thinking I wouldn't need them, because I need them now. This is why I am so wary of deleting any kind of item. You never know when you're gonna need them, or at least that's what I think. And when I thought I would never ever need the Mount Speed boost, here we are. So if anything, this gives me more reason to avoid destroying more items in the future. This one kinda validates the other carryall that I have full in my vault. In a way. Small way. Yeah, please take me there safely. Please don't lag. I mean, riding through Gondor with this awesome music in the background, it's amazing. And now that I think of it, it's also, in a way, an appropriate way of saying goodbye to Gondor for what it seems to be, for good this time, it seems to be. So after going through King's Gondor East and West, so basically revisiting all of Gondor, and then going to Amphalas and Pinath Gelling, we have one last quote-unquote victory lap. It's not exactly a victory lap, but I hope you get what I mean. And yeah, it seems like an appropriate send-off to Gondor now that we are living. Like a final reminder of, well, this is what we're fighting for. The music does a lot of the heavy lifting as well. And yeah, this is what you're fighting for, this is what you're protecting, so now go there and do it. I don't know if all of you feel the same way, but at least me playing with Beriathan as a Citadel Guard of Minas Tirith, this is exactly what it feels like. One last chance as well to reminisce about your adventures in Gondor. Before the war and after the war. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind this one as much. I've heard some people kind of complain about it, like as if it wasn't bad enough us having half the expansion in Gondor and having to revisit a lot of areas we had already been through. Now we gotta do it all over again one last time before going to the Shield Isles. Like, are you for real? And I understand the sentiment. And once again, I'm also eager to get to Umbar at some point. But I'm so excited about the prospect of commanding the ship, gathering my own crew, that I'm really enjoying this one last trek through Gondor that I didn't think we would get. Not to this extent. Because again, I kinda knew we would have to get the crew and they will be scattered around the place. But I thought they will be confined to Western King's Gondor at most. But yeah, these two guys that we gotta go look for in Furuk-Sahar and Pelargir really make you feel the whole scale of it. And we also talked to them at the beginning of the expansion. You would remember we stopped at Pelargir briefly. LSR talked with Sirgon about the fleet and everything, and then we went to Furuk-Sahar and met Gangur and no. It's over here, my bad. Met Gangur and he told us what he knew about Voltec and the Kindred and the entire deal with the Temamir dwarves. So it's in a way also a way of coming full circle and closing all these threads from the first half of the expansion and opening the story up for what's to come. Oh boy, it's just that Furuk-Sahar is so far away. And yeah, this area here is technically a level 140 area. It was released before the expansion, so that's why we are seeing tier 14 crafting here. Is that a tower from Pelargir? Seems to be. Yeah. The draw distance. Amazing. And especially now that the sun is setting and you get like this pink undertone looking at the tower. Yeah, very, very scenic. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, let's go to Gangur first. We're gonna ride there, and depending on how much time we take doing Gangur's part, we might need to muster at Western Pelargir to do the final part of this, but we have already gotten to Pelargir on our own, so that final muster wouldn't bother me that much, really. I think it makes more sense going to Furuk-Sahar first, because even though the entrance to Pelargir is right here, we still need to cross the entire city to the eastern gate. So in the long run, that is farther than Furuk-Sahar is. Now I'm wondering, if I weren't using my Son of the Tortoise, what level would be would I be now? Closing to 148 maybe. We've been doing a lot of things since I got the Stone of the Tortoise. Basically, well, the second half of Outer Gondor and not the second half of Peanut Galen, sorry. The second half of Peanut Galen and all these recruiting the crew. Well, maybe not getting to 148, but on the early ranges of 147 seems most likely to me. But it doesn't feel right to be that high level before leaving Gondor. I mean, even level 146 seems like it's too much. It looks like this expansion was designed for you to be 144 or 145 at most before leaving for Umbar. And it makes sense. I mean, the first half being Western King's Gondor and Outer Gondor, and the second half being the Shield Isles and the Cape of Umbar and the city of Umbar. Makes a lot of sense in my mind. Now, you know what? I didn't realize two things actually. One, if we were using a regular stable ride, nobody would be attacking us right now. And stable horses are faster than your own horses. I think they are maybe not as fast as a worsted. I don't know. I haven't tested that. Maybe I should do that at some point. Like, yeah, measuring how much time do I take using a stable horse or the worsted. I don't know if at some point. If someday I'm bored and have nothing to do, I hope I remember to do this and bring you my discoveries. Maybe somebody has already done that, so it's really not a priority right now. But here we are at Furuksahar.
Do I know where Gondor far will be? You're going to have to remind me who that is.
You tell Kutuk that he was a Longbeard that departed shortly after the arrival of King Elazar. The dwarf strokes his beard and contemplates your description. Yes, I remember him now. Hamizar sent him from the fortress in disgrace, as I recall. You should not waste any time seeking one such as he, for he is a bad penny and will bring you nothing but trouble. If you insist upon it, perhaps so you can make him a better dwarf. I believe he mentioned stopping at Sarsatrat before continuing his journey. Sarsatrat is the outpost to the south. Good day to you. Boy. It's the Elladan and Elrohir thing all over again. Like, yeah, it's good to have the quest here in Furuksahar. This is the last place where we saw Gangur. But if some player had the idea of thinking, yeah, well, he can't be here right now, he should be at the other Dwarven outpost in Gondor, being Sarsatrat, so let me look for him first at that location. The game should reward that kind of initiative, like having the quest be available, be given to you by either Kutuk or one of the dwarves at Sarsatrat, even Gangur himself. If you've done your homework and if you've paid attention and you know where to go, it would be really nice if the game could acknowledge that kind of proactive thinking. And of course, when I rode through Sarsatrat, I really didn't think Gangur would be there, but if that had been implemented, we would have met Gangur there, and I would have felt pretty smart about it. But that's not to be today. Now, if you would leave me alone, I would really appreciate that one. At least the worsted now can take a good beating, instead of falling down after one hit. Yeah, worsteds were being one-shotted in Mordor Besieged before the revamp. You have found Gangur Farwent Tarsasatrat.
Do I know you? I don't have a very good mind for faces.
You remind Gangur that he warned you about some suspicious aliens within the Temamir fortress of Furuksahar, and he nods. Yes, I remember now. I am pleased that my words prove some help to you, although as you can see I am no longer welcome there. It is fine. I have always been a traveler, and the hospitality of Furuksahar was not specially to my liking. He lowers his voice. You remember Koltek the Cunning? He carried a talisman on his person, and it shone in a very curious way, as if it contained a gem possessing unusual qualities. I have mentioned it to some of the dwarfs here in a roundabout way so as not to give away my interest, and they say they will tell me more if I help eliminate some of the beasts nearby. Would you like to help me accomplish this? Yes. Of course, Gangur Farwent will be more likely to join your crew if you help him, so you agree. No, I also want to learn about this amulet. Because something that I also not 100% sure about. But it seems like they are they referring to the same amulets, the same coins that the rest of the kindred wears? That would help explain why they are so powerful, and that would also help them build them up to be formidable enemies. If they have some sort of magic help. At least we didn't have to go that far.
I told the dwarves here we did as they requested, and they laughed at me.
Special gemstone? What makes you think we would tell an outsider like you anything, they said. They called me too trusting. Me, Gangur Farwent. You try to call him down and ask if he will be interested in joining your crew, but you have only just brought it up when he interrupts. I am not in the mood for conversation, Beriathan. I cannot stay in this place. They are laughing at me even now behind my back. Gangur storms off, leaving Tarsasatrat and hurrying to the southeast. How far to the southeast? Not that far, but far enough. 300 meters, yeah, it's not that much. But yeah, we would need to master back to Pelargir and take the stable master to the east side maybe. I really wanna check. Probably there won't be anything, but I really wanna check the footstool in Pelargir there. I feel like there should be something there. Or maybe it will when we come back. Who knows? Gangur grunts in recognition as you approach.
What is it about that gemstone that they do not want to share with outsiders?
They laughed at me, Beriathan. Why would they do that? What is it about that gemstone that they do not want to share with outsiders? Gangur strokes his beard deep in thought. The Temamir of Furuksahar did not want you to know they were visited by an emissary of the Kindred of the Coins, and they kept the details of what he spoke about a secret from you and from the King of Gondor. Then the dwarfs of Tarsasatrat dodged my questions about the gemstone that the emissary carried. Why? What were you saying earlier, Beriathan? Something about a voyage? You tell Gangur once again about your mission to Umbar and your desire for him to join your crew. This time he thinks it over. I have come a long way from my home already. What is another 100 miles even if those carry me across the bay? The answers I seek may lie in Umbar with the Kindred of the Coins. I will join you, Beriathan. I must learn about the unusual gem carried by Koltek the Cunning, and the reasons for his folk to maintain such secrecy when asked about it. I will be there when you begin your voyage. That's fortunate. Gangur Farwent, the Carver of Distant Stone, has joined your crew. Yeah, that's very fortunate. Don't you worry about getting seasick, Gangur. Gimli, I'm sure Gimli will share some of the medicine with you. Yeah, I really did not expect we would have 2 dwarves in the boat. I hope they have some funny remarks when we get there. I mean, Gimli was already hilarious last time, but we'll see what else they have to say. So close to Pelargir now that... Ah, what the heck, we have walked this far, we can do that now. I think this episode will be slightly longer than usual. Hope you don't mind, but we are so close to completing the crew that it really wouldn't make that much sense to stop now. Yeah, don't stop me now, because I'm having a good time. I really am. Really am. And once again, the sunset here in Pelargir, oh, beautiful. Now, only a fool would dream of crossing the city on a war steed. I'm not fool, at least not that foolish. Not doing that again. The Warden trainer, right where he was. And our friends at the footstool. How are you doing this fine day? Joda, Saji, Onjapo. God, I forgot your name. And your title, but I remember the quest we did with you, for you, whatever. It would be so nice getting a follow-up to this. I hope we get a good follow-up to this at some point. I don't know, it seems the LOTRO team is also building up a future visit to Harad. We've met a lot of Haradrim ever since we came to Ithilien, and some of them had promised they would meet us in Harad. We also had the entire thing with the Nurnoth that were, well, fleeing to Nirn, not Harad, but close enough, I guess. And now we have this thing with the footstool, so maybe that will be important in a future update. That would be nice. That would be neat. If that were to happen. Oopsie. Okay. Othor, Nazar, and the Corsairs came here to talk to Celebros. But since we left Pelargir after talking to her, we really didn't see this. Oh. It is possible the cage songbird in Sirgon's room of keepsakes could be Wallang. So yeah, there you have it. This is the bird we were looking for all along. I thought Sirgon would be here. Ah yeah, he is! On the other side of the room. So yes, as you can see, the LOTRO team, at least the clue about the whereabouts of this bird were big enough, but they placed Sirgon in this room so that you would find him. At least hoping, I don't know, you would enter here, see the cage, remember what he told you about the bird. The last time he said something like, I got this at the Langstrand a few years ago. So it was very vague. But yeah, they at least kind of guided you to the bird now. Where was the whistle again? Ah yeah, talk to Sirgon in his room of keepsakes about the cage songbird. Okay. And they even have you talk to Sirgon for that too.
What is it, my friend? Ask me anything and it shall be yours.
You ask Sirgon how he came to possess the songbird caged at the far end of his room of keepsakes. Oh, it was years ago now. I sailed to speak with my friend Belondor of Langstrad about some matter or another. I confess that I cannot bring it so easily to mind. He is dead now, drowned among the Shield Isles, a story for another time. But I do remember that as we sailed along the coast of Amphalas, that bird flew across the water to my vessel and settled upon one of the ropes. He was a boisterous little fellow. At first I thought he was there for the fish my crew had caught that day, but he quite ignored them. He stayed on the ship for that the entire voyage, and as he did not disturb any of the crew, I kept him on board for other journeys as well. Now he keeps me company here at home. You tell Sirgon about the possibility that the songbird might be Wallang, a friend of Leafshade, and that the end gave you a whistle to call him home. Oh, I see. I will miss the little fellow, but I do not want to keep him a prisoner here if he wishes to be elsewhere. Well, do I know what it is to be kept from the place where sings your heart? Go to him and blow a whistle. Perhaps he will stay here, but if he does not, I will be pleased to set him free. Awesome, now we can use the whistle. And I will talk to you in just a moment, Sirgon. The caged songbird tilts his head and hopes excitedly. Is this Wallang? The songbird flies out of the cage, circles the room, and vanishes outside. We need to talk to Leafshade. Really?
So what brings you back to my manor with such haste?
You return from your tour of Gondor with the king, and so quickly. What brings you back to my manor with such haste, Beriathan? You tell Sirgon of what befell young Thorongil of Peanutgelin, and of the mission to bring him safely back from Umbar. His eyes light up, and he eagerly grasps your hand. I will be delighted to join your crew, my friend. I confess to you that the thoughts of the sea have occupied my dreams, and even my waking thoughts have dwelt upon it. Ever since I spoke with King Elessar and stepped down as the Lord of Levenin, I have desired to sail once again. My son Faltaran will take up the charge of rebuilding the vessels of the Gondorian navy. He is already well acquainted with what must be done. I have a further confession. I have already packed my trunk, hoping beyond hope that a ship would have need of an old sailor for its crew. By the Valar, it has come to pass. Will you bring the trunk in here for me? It is in the southern dining room of my manor. Southern. Okay. So, through here. Southern. Oh, Faltaran. I'm gonna talk to you? No? Okay, here. Celebros and Faltaran? Please don't make me do this. When you are done carrying that, will you come speak with me and my son? Oh boy. I kinda guess what they will tell to me. After you finish carrying that, will you come speak with me and with my mother? Yeah, so you don't miss that, regardless of which path you take. Sirgon is delighted you have brought him his trunk.
Tell me about the ship we will be sailing to Umbar. It has been too long.
You tell Sirgon what you know about the Wave Hunter, little as it is, and he nods eagerly. Golasgul of Amphalas was a mariner of great skill and ability. I knew him well, and we sailed together more than once. I believe he was, as I am, a man of the sea, but one whose duties called him away from the waves, to his great regret. I remember him fondly. It is right that his prize vessel will bear us to Umbar on the king's mission. My wife and son will want to speak to you. They think I am too old to be of use, but I tell you they are wrong. I don't think that's what they think. If that makes sense.
I understand you will sail with my father to Umbar on a mission of some secrecy?
No, I do not ask for any of the details. I think I have expected him to depart ever since I agreed to take over his duties as Lord of Levenin. At least, this seems to be on the king's behalf. My mother told me privately that she feared my father might sneak aboard a merchant ship and vanish in the night just to set sail again. I do not think he would go so far, but it is better this way, I think. Do what you can to keep him safe, my friend. He is not the man he was in his youth, when he freely sailed the Bay of Belfast at the steward's command and challenged corsair ships among the waves. It's been a while since we talked, Balthanan. But I am certain you will grow into your role as Lord of Lebanon. My husband believed he is still the same man he was when he commanded the fleets of Gondor, but it is not so. Time marches onward, and while his mind is as sharp as ever it was, my Stirgon has lived long since those days. You ask Celebros if she wishes for you to withdraw your request, and she shakes her head. I do not ask this of you, for I know he can be of great help to you and to King Elessar. I do not say he should remain behind, for I believe it would do him an injury, Beriathan. Aye, being left behind while others sail again on such an urgent mission would deal him a grave hurt, perhaps his last. He is a sailor, my Sirgon, and he has always been a sailor. He must go with you, but do keep a watchful eye on him, Beriathan. I do worry, even as I know he cannot stay. Yeah, that's what I thought. They just fear for his safety, but Sirgon is so eager to sail. He does not see it. You remember what I told you last time we were at this mansion? Last time we talked to Sirgon in here? Like, how cool would it be if he were to join us in Umbar? Well, here we are. Oh boy.
It will be just like the old days, when I sailed the waves and risked life and limb against the harsh elements.
Oh, you never feel so alive as when you stand on the deck of a ship. Any mariner will tell you so. I will meet you beside the Wave Hunter when you are ready to depart. I look forward to meeting the rest of your crew, my friend. Together we will rescue young Thorongil, and no corsair shall prevent us and live. Sirgon the Sea-Longing Lord has joined your crew. And with this we only need to, well, return to Leafshade. But I think, no, I'm certain we don't have enough time for that today, and I think there will be something more with Leafshade. I have just a feeling, but we'll need to wait until the next one to see. For the time being, this has been all on today's episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.